Welcome, guys, to this season's first Commissioner's Address coming off of week one here. The first week is in the books, and it was, I don't know if you guys watched a whole bunch of football, but it was weird. There were some bizarre games. That Dallas and Giants game was just all over the place. Neither team was playing very well. OBJ didn't look that great. Eli didn't look that great. It was kind of a really strange game if you guys watched it. Some big upsets. St. Louis beat Seattle, so that's huge. That's a big win for St. Louis. And the Bills beat the Colts. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. 24-0. The Bills were up at 1 point, so that's a gong show. So hopefully Andrew Luck can pick it up here. He did end up with 19 points for me, so I'm not upset with that. But that's probably going to be, and hopefully, his lowest turnout of the season. Peyton shit the bed, so when I gave Spencer a hard time at the draft for taking Peyton round 3, that was why. He had 173 yards. I think he ended up with 5.1 points, something like that, so he was terrible. Denver won that game against the Ravens despite not having any offensive touchdowns. It was just an atrocious game for Denver. Travis Kelce, huge for me. Yeah, that's right, a tight end. I don't know if you guys have them out there, but he was huge. He had 2 touchdowns. Carlos Hyde was huge for Rob. I don't know if you guys watched that last night, but he was good. That was a really good performance by him, and actually, as much as I hate to say it, Kaepernick looked pretty good. He looked pretty poised in the pocket, so that was kind of interesting to see. So maybe some bright lights out there, shining light for San Francisco. And we'll get right into it here with the first matchup of the week. I'm going to start with Eric's team and Cincinnati Carnage. Eric's team coming out with the win here pretty big, 157-114. The biggest blowout this week. Eric had the second highest score of the week, and Cincinnati Carnage, his team just didn't perform. Not a lot of players met or exceeded their goals here. So Antonio Brown for Cincinnati Carnage, 28 points. Probably expect that week in and week out from Antonio Brown, at the very least, until their Martavis Bryant and Le'Veon Bell are back. Joseph Randle and Amir Abdullah both did actually quite well for what they were expected to do. Amir especially got 19 points. So some good things there going for Cincinnati, but being a rookie in the league, I think it's just some rookie mistakes here, and maybe just didn't have the team put together. Eric's team, huge performance from DeAndre Hopkins. 2 catches for touchdowns, 98 yards, and 9 catches. So huge week from him. And then obviously the St. Louis defense, 27 points. They had 6 sacks against Russell Wilson, 7 tackles for a loss, and a kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown. That's ridiculous. So good on Eric, 157-114. That's a win. I don't know if we can call it a win for Eric this week, though. He did lose Dez Bryant. There are some mixed reports out there. He's hoping 4 to 6 weeks. Most people that have had the same injury, and most doctors are saying 8 to 12 weeks. So it'd be nice to see him come back early from a football perspective, and I've got him in my other league, so I'd like him to come back, but he might have to trade him before he kind of gets a setback here. Maybe you can get something for him now, or maybe hang on to him for a last season push. But it's going to be tough making the playoffs now without Dez Bryant. He was probably your second pick, I would think. So tough going into that one. Moving right along here to the Battle of the Jessies. So we've got Vallette's Vengeance winning 145-115 over Mitchell's team. It was actually pretty close going into Monday night. The win came from Julio Jones. Had a huge night for Atlanta. Matt Ryan was targeting him all night. He was very good. He was uncoverable. He had 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 9 catches. Like I said before, for Mitchell, OBJ was pretty quiet, 9 points. Jimmy Graham, 17 points, so he did pretty good. No one was really knowing where he was going to go. It was actually a tie here on for the defensive scores. Seattle and Baltimore both had 28 points, so just a wash there. But Julio Jones won it for Vallette's Vengeance, so he is the first winner of the Battle of the Jessies. Going right into 4th and Lynch's against the Underminers. Right off the hop, it looked like the Underminers were going to go a little crazy here. Rob Gronkowski, 3 touchdowns on 5 catches for almost 100 yards. He was a beast. But after that, it was pretty downhill for the underminers. The Atlanta kicker, Matt Bryant, had 17 points, so that's pretty high. But other than Gronk, there wasn't a whole bunch going on. Breeze was okay, had a lot of yards, 355 and a pass touchdown, but he also had a pick there, so not great. Casey, Tom Brady, gotta hate that guy, but 4 touchdowns, 288 yards. He was good, very good. Matt Forte, I don't know how he's going to keep this up, but Matt Forte, 27 points. He just kind of keeps going. He's like Lynch, but he's just, it seems like he's so much older out there. DeMarco, 18 points, so it didn't look like he was doing a whole bunch at the beginning of the game, but DeMarco did turn it on. Yeah, there wasn't a whole bunch to talk about in this game. Fourth and Lynch just kind of plucked away at it and ended up winning by almost 30 points, so good job there, Casey. Next one here, we've got Eskimo Brothers over Habs Rule. This is actually a pretty high-scoring affair. The Eskimo Brothers do pull it out, 149 to 135. Habs Rule did have a good game from Tony Romo, 24 points. That was, like I said, that was a weird game, though. I don't know if you guys watched that. But pretty consistent performances across the board. Lynch had 17. Vincent Jackson had 9. Alfred Morris had 12. So Jason Witten was a big one. He had 26. So obviously Bruce is able to double dip a bit from Romo and Witten. They both had good games. But Deshaun Jackson, he got injured. So he actually didn't get any points for Bruce, and he was projected to get 12. So if he was healthy, that very well could have been the difference. Eskimo Brothers, Keenan Allen. I don't even need to say more. He didn't even get a touchdown, and he still had 31 points. He had 15 catches for 166 yards. He got 15 points just for his fucking catches. He was just a beast for San Diego. He was catching everything. I think he had 16 targets. So, yeah, he was one catch off of the franchise record for catches in one game. He was unreal. Adrian Peterson, I think he had 4 touches. Yeah, 4 touches at halftime. Didn't really do a whole bunch for the Eskimo Brothers, but it didn't matter. Frank Gore, only 5 points, but again, it didn't matter. That big performance from Keenan Allen, and then 34 points from Carolina. They had 5 sacks and 8 tackles for loss and a defensive touchdown against Jacksonville. So these new defensive scoring points have made a huge, huge difference. We've seen anywhere from 34 points right down to 8 in week 1. So all I did, remember guys, is I changed sacks to be worth 1 point. I changed them to 2. And tackles for loss, I changed them from 0 to 1 point. So that's all I actually changed, but it made a huge difference. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how it is going forward. Just some high scores though, right? But I guess it's the new normal. Next, we're going to get into the Vinegar Strokes versus Luck to Your Girly. This is a lot closer than we both thought it would be. Rob and I were kind of talking last night about the big blowout that it was. I was up almost 70 points going into Monday night. But thanks to Carlos Hyde with 168 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 catches, he pulled in that gap pretty close, 166 to 148, like I said. So Rob didn't actually have a bad week. I think he was the 3rd or 4th highest score. Just tough luck that he was matched up against this guy who had the highest score of the week. So he did get a good performance from Rodgers and Wallace. Allen Robinson I actually thought would do better, and Marvin Jones were pretty poor performances, but he had 86 points from his 4 running backs. So, like over 20-point average between his running backs. Ingram with 20, Jonathan Stewart with 12, Carlos Hyde with 32, and Bishop Sankey with 22. So talk about some running back depth there. That was some huge performances by them. On my side, Luck was a little above what he was expected. Edelman, though, that was probably my good start there. He had 11 catches for 100 yards. No touchdown, but I mean, he still got 21 points. Jarvis Landry, 8 catches and a touchdown. He got 20 points. Then obviously my tight ends, both Bennett and Kelsey had a touchdown. So that's 28 points for Kelsey and 16 for Bennett. And then that kicker that I didn't really want, that I kind of hesitated on, had the highest kicking score for week 1. So, woo! Brandon McManus, Denver kicker, had 18 points. His first 2 kicks were for 56 yards and 57 yards. So he was a beast. So better luck next time, Rob. Getting into the last battle of the week, the lowest scoring affair. It was bad. It was really bad. Nick had the lowest score of the week, and Spencer had the lowest score, winning score of the week, 120 to 114. It was just bad. They had the Manning brothers battling against each other. Combined, they had just a hair more than 14 points. That's right, both Peyton and Eli combined, so 14 points. Way to go. They both had decent turnouts from their number one receiver, Cobb and Sanders. Both had about 14 and a half. Yeah, it was not a whole bunch of bright lights here. Jamal Charles did what he's supposed to do. Eddie Lacy did what he's supposed to do. Chris Ivory did have a good game, and that might have been the difference right there. Houston defense was not great. They had 11 points. So congratulations to Spencer for winning the battle of just the inept two here. But that's the final from last year, and if this kind of holds steady and this kind of pace, you guys are in for a long season. So anyway, that is my wrap up from this past week. Hopefully Des gets better for you, Eric. And I just wanted to let you guys know the waiver wire. For some reason my other video cut off there. I think maybe it was too long, but I just wanted to get and touch in on the waiver wire. Right now it says Game Time Tuesday for when the waiver releases. I've kind of read into it, and what that actually means, I have no idea. I'm having a hard time figuring it out. So we'll let it release this week when it does, and just kind of keep an eye out. So if you guys see that the waiver is released, just kind of let everybody know, or just kind of keep a tab on it, just so we can kind of figure it out, so that it's kind of consistent for next week. That's one thing, Yahoo's free, so it's all good. I mean, for CBS and the other league, we paid $120, I think, for our thing last year, but it was a little bit better waiver. Other than that, I like the Yahoo system much better, but the waiver wire is a little bit inconsistent with the time and with what you can set it as. So we'll see what happens this week, and if that works for us, which I'm sure it will. I'm thinking it's going to be tonight, if it hasn't happened already. So it should be tonight, and hopefully that gets done. And if it's not tonight, then I'll take a look at changing it. So I apologize for the kind of confusion here, but it should happen right away here, and we'll get all our waiver wires kind of finished up and go from there. Anyway, all hail the commish.